Big Al.
Hello, everybody. It's Big Al with some more content for Lord of the Rings Rise to War. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Smash the like button on my videos if you've learned anything, if you like the content. Also, now there is memberships as well, which will get special content, early views on the videos, different videos contoured just to the members only. You can also tip me with the thanks button and hit hype on the videos as well. That helps out as well so I get more recognition from YouTube. So, now let's start the video.
So, on this video, we are going to talk about Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White, the comparison, when to use which one. So, let's take a look at them both. And let me take off the gear. I probably should have done this before the video, but that's okay. So, let's look up Gandalf the Grey first, because he is the legendary one. He is the one that everybody is going to get. So, let's look at his skills. White Council is one of the most important skills in the game. Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White both have this as their R2 skill. And what it does is, it is damage reduction. 4 allied formations receive 18% less damage from the first 7 instances when it's at level 10, because this will be the first thing that you max out on both commanders. And then it has a modification. For every 100 focus, you get an additional 20%. So if you have 200 focus on him, you're looking at 58% reduction from the first 7 hits. That's huge. Now let's take a look at the other skills. Gandalf the Grey has the skill on his top R0, the Grey. And this is a healing skill, and it will restore 150% hit points to one allied formation unit each round. And then it also modifies by focus stat. The chance goes up to 60% to restore hit points an additional time. His other skill, and Mithandril. So for the first 4 rounds, the commander's formation has a 60% chance to gain dual blows each round. Then it takes effect for 5 rounds. When it gets to level 5 and level 10, it gains initiative while this effect is active. So, okay, you got a couple different ways to go. And then you have your damage skill. And this will do 270% focus damage, 1-2 formations, and then it's got a couple other things. And I'm going to be honest with you, with Gandalf the Grey, you're not going to use this skill because you will never get decent damage out of him. It's just a fact. So now let's take a look at Gandalf the White's skills. Okay, we have White Council, same as Gandalf the Grey. His top R0, the White, is a damage skill, 450% focus damage to one enemy. And then gains focus, and it also gives you a chance for stun for 1 round. Bottom R0 is the same skill that was on Gandalf the Grey as his R4 skill. So they have 2 of the same skills. Well, Gandalf the Grey, the other one was a heal, and then there was a dual blows. And then Gandalf the White's R4 is White Rider. First 3 rounds, damage received by 2 enemy formations plus 25%. Duration increased to 4 rounds. And then at level 10, the number of targets increased to 3 formations. So you're adding a damage buff to the enemy, which is going to help out your damage dealers immensely. So, you have White Council, you have White Rider for Gandalf the White. Those are the main 2 skills. For Gandalf the Grey, you have White Council, and then he's a little more versatile than Gandalf the White. If you're doing tiles, the gray for the heal isn't bad. And then if you're doing PvP, you're probably going to want Mithandrol. You're going to want those dual blows because that's going to help get a little damage out of Gandalf the Grey's formation. So, like I said, with Gandalf the Grey being legendary, more people are going to have him. And they're going to get him up to respect 5, 6, 7, 8 before they can get Gandalf the White to respect 4. Because that's when you really want to use Gandalf the White is on respect 4 because of White Council and White Rider. Now, it also depends on the way your army is set up. If you are a traditional army where you have a tank, a support, and 2 damage dealers, Gandalf the White is going to go into that army as soon as he reaches respect 4. Even if Gandalf the Grey is respect 8, 9, 10, I would still put Gandalf the White in there at respect 4 because that White Rider is huge. Now, here's a couple other things to think about. Okay, my Gandalf the White is respect 1, my Gandalf the Grey is respect 10. When you gain respect levels, you also gain stats like focus and command, attack, blah, blah, blah. So, as it sits, Gandalf the White's base focus is 175 and command is 167. Now let's check out Gandalf the Grey at respect 10. Oh, here, let me unequip that so it's a fair fight. Command is 154. Okay, you had 167 on Gandalf the White. Focus is 90. Okay, and on Gandalf the White, it is 75. That bonus comes from the respect levels. Normally, Gandalf the White is at 65 base level. Okay, so the stats are going to be better on Gandalf the White base level. Now, there is some different approaches as well. When you have an army that you are running, say, troop damage, Gandalf the Grey might be the way to go for the fact that that he has that Mithandrol skill where it's dual blows for the first few rounds, and that would be with the troop damage. But in a traditional army, you're gonna want to put Gandalf the White in as soon as he becomes respect 4. Does he? I think he does it on round 3. Um, at respect 3, okay, at respect 3, he gains um stats 3, 5, 7, 9, I believe it is. So these are the things that kind of compare. Gandalf the White, obviously he's a mythic compared to the legendary, so if they're equal respect level, you're going to want to use Gandalf the White, except possibly in that troop damage, because White Rider is good and all for the first 3 rounds damage received, but getting that dual blows sometimes can inflict more damage if you have a troop damage army. So there's some of the differences. Some of the same things, Wizard and White Council, but they pretty much are used kind of the same, both for White Council and then some kind of buff, whether it's dual blows for Gandalf the Grey or it's White Rider for Gandalf the White. And then Gandalf the Grey has the heal for its third skill during PvP, and Gandalf the White has a little bit of a damage skill, which will also help clear enemy White Council. So those are some of the differences for the two Gandalfs. As you can see, my Gandalf the White is respect 1, so I'm always going to use Gandalf the Grey in my main army. It's also why I ascended him to Mythic, because I wanted to focus my Mythic respect somewhere else, which was Sauron and Dane. So both are usable. Both can do a very good job. So hopefully this clears some talk about Gandalf's, and that's all I got for you. So, as always, make the most out of what you got.